Hi everybody, Laura here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm excited to be a part of the Positively Saturated Ink blog hop with Simon Says Stamp. And I'm going to be featuring the Petal Builder die. The reason I wanted to do this is because they have these little petals and I was going to ink blend each petal a different color, showing off the delicious positively saturated inks. So this is the first time I've used this die, and it comes with the big old petal, like the big old flower shape, and then you have the little petals. I counted them. There's 8. Okay, so I'm going to die cut all these little petals. There's 3, so I'll die cut it 3 times. That'll give me 9. I'll have 1 extra in case I make a boo-boo. I'm using some Hammermill white cardstock here, and I'm going to take it off camera, run it through my die cutting machine to make these little petal shapes. They kind of look like half moons. Okay, and then I'm going to do this again. I'm going to do it 3 times. And I'm going to blend each one of the petals with the positively saturated inks, which we're showing off today. And by the way, these inks are my most used. I have the ink carousel for them, and I have my go-to colors, which is what I'm going to show you here. Now that I've got these all die cut, I pulled out the Simon Says Stamp glass mat, and then I'm going to use one of their craft tacky mats, stick it on the glass mat, and peel off that acetate protective sheet. And then I'm going to stick all 8 of these petals on here. And the reason I'm doing that is that this tacky mat will hold them steady while I ink blend them up. And then I'm going to choose 8 of my go-to colors. The ones I can grab them with my eyes closed. And they're just my tried and trues. And you know I'm going in rainbow order. So starting with pink, pulling out peony. Probably one of my favorite colors ever. With all the inks ever. I love this peony color. And I'm using the Rainbow Splash large blender brushes. One of my next favorites, apple. I love this apple. It's a very happy apple, bright red color. And I am kind of concentrating the color right at the corner of that petal. And then I kind of don't add any more ink. So it gets a little bit lighter, a little bit of gradient love. Here we have grapefruit. If I forget to mention a color, everything will be linked. Citrine, kind of an orangey yellow. Then we got LIMELICIOUS. Now, do I have a blender brush for each one of these colors? Yes, I do. But I don't have like 3 green brushes and 3 blue brushes. I have 1 aqua brush for surf. I use it for seafoam, surf, and ocean. Here I have a blue brush, my true blue. It's Cadet, so I'll use it for maroon, cadet, and royal. Those are the blue color family. And so yeah, I've got 8 brushes in my little, I have the Gina K ink brush holder. You know, I think it holds 8 or 9. And so I have that. But then I have this purple one. That's lilac. Take these all off. I have a stamp chamois just wet with water, and I clean off this craft tacky mat. I'll put the acetate sheet back on it and then just put that away, and I'll leave it on that glass mat and pull it out next time I need to use it. Now I'm creating a white card base. I use a Simon Says Stamp scoreboard, a Teflon bone folder, and I have some Nina Solar White 110 pound. Then I trimmed a panel of fog cardstock. I love a good fog on a white card base using some tape runner. And the nice thing about fog is it's a neutral. And it also lets all these rainbow colors pop. And it just, sometimes I do buttercream, sometimes I do fog. It's just the neutral on neutral action is what I'm going for. Now I'm trying to find the center point. So I'm drawing a little tick mark here, crissy-crossy both sides. And then I'll know where to start adhering my petals so that I get it centered. I'm using Barely Arts glue. And one thing I want to do is just really add the adhesive at the corner, and the outer petal will just kind of be free, and that way I can zhuzh it and give it a little lifter-rooney for some fun. Okay, so I started with the apple petal, then grapefruit. Next we have citrine. You could certainly customize this with different colors. You don't have to do these bright rainbow these are kind of primary rainbow colors. But another fun thing is you could do this with a solid color cardstock. and or pattern paper. You could just really just have a fun time. This Petal Builder die, I think there's a Petal Builder die, there's a Petal Pattern die, and there's also a stencil. So there's a lot of this little Petal Builder bundle you can use and mix and match these products together. Okay, so I'm working my way here, and I've got the LIMELICIOUS petal, and then lastly, what's going in here? The Surf, the aqua one, tuck it in, fits like it was meant to be. Okay, so press that down, count to 10, and make sure it's good. And then I couldn't resist the zhuzh. I couldn't resist, so I want to lift these up and just have a little fun with it. I don't know, something about dimension. You know what they say? Dimension is life. And so that's what I'm doing. Just lifting these up with that place and pierce wand and seeing how it feels. Now for a sentiment, I'm pulling out an oldie but a goodie, one of my favorites, the CZ Hi There Greetings stamp set. I'm going to do that little hay. I'm going to emboss it in white onto some black cardstock. So first I'm prepping with the Simon powder tool, and then I'm going to ink this up with Versamark ink. I'll pour on Simon Says Stamp white embossing powder and heat her with the heat gun. Now there's not a coordinating die for this little hay, but I had an idea. I wanted to make a circular sentiment, almost like it'd be the center of a floral. You know what I mean? Like, you'll see. Okay, so I'm pouring on the white embossing powder, and then I'll heat this with the heat gun. I love Kathy Zilski's sets. They're my favorites. And then also to cut the circle, this is a newer one, but I'm very excited about it. I could see that I'm going to use it a ton. The Basic Shapes Circles die set. I use one of the smaller ones, just big enough to cut out the hay. I'm using one of these 3D foam squares. Right in the center, I'm going to pop up the hay. See how that fits just perfectly right in the center? And now I'm going to alternate. This is a new one. I'm doing the alternate zhuzh. So every other petal sticks out more. And that's what you call the alternate zhuzh. I love this. My daughter walked in and she was like, well, if this ain't right up your alley. She's like, did you design this product? I go, no, but I love it. She's like, oh, this is right up your alley, Mom. And she's right. But you got to check out the rest of the Pawsitively Saturated Ink blog hop to see more incredible inspiration. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.